G'day. This is Phil from Eastern Suburbs Hockey Club. Today, the video we're going to present is on pressing, right? So, this is my take on pressing. So, you may have yours, but you will have one, you'll have an idea. As a coach, we all do. We all have an idea of how we want our players to set when the opposition wins the ball. I've been learning. I'm still learning. I'm one of those guys that likes to keep my eye on the game, my ears open, always listening for new ideas, new takes, And what I'm about to show you, well, that got my attention. I work with a couple of teams that are in their early development stage. They play high-level hockey, so A grade, Division 1, but they are playing against teams that have years and years and years of experience under their belt, and they're going up against them. So one thing that stood out for me was how we were trying to press, and we would press three-quarter press, and we would be beaten by pace, right? So, team play, bonding, those sort of things between players, that takes time. So when you're going up against years and years of that, that corporate knowledge, that understanding between players is compounded, and you're trying to beat them, and it's difficult, right? So when you're fresh. So this is my take on pressing for a developing team. And I've taken it out of some things that I read about Great Britain hockey, and I think for me it works. So we're the blue team. Red team is the opposition. The red team here, they've just got the ball, right? We've turned the ball over, and over 16. Okay, so how I want my players now, how I want my press to happen is that I want us to condense to our own half. So bringing the players back. Make their way back to halfway. Okay. That's a half press. That's what we call a half press, right? So this is how I would set it up. Now, why a half press works is when you're playing against a more skillful team, a faster team, a team with a stronger passing game, this slows them down, right? Slows them down and gives you a greater chance of cutting off that fast ball that gets to their dangerous strikers. So blue team's condensed to halfway, so we've got a half press here. Red team, well then, they're going to try and stretch the field, or elongate. Stretching, so much easier to say. Stretching the field. So understand this, that when the opposition wants to have the ball, they want the field big. Okay? When the opposition doesn't want to have the ball, they want the field small. So we're going to try and make this space tight for them. Okay, so that's how this works for me. So half press, that to me is where we'll always start. So if you're wondering whether or not if the blue team turns the ball over and it's not a 16, but say it's a free hit over here, same idea. Any free hit in that half, turn, make your way back to halfway. Okay. So this is our launching position. Like I said about the half press, I like the half press idea, but the half press idea for me is really only the starting point. I think that for intelligent teams, they need to develop different presses, okay? So there's a pressing, it's like a process. So here's the basic idea, here's the basic process. We drop back to halfway, we half press, okay? They've got the ball. Now, when they're trying to aggressively get to the circle, this will work, this is great, okay? So they're trying to get aggressive, they're trying to punch through to this player here maybe, okay? We're in a position where we can envelope that, cut it off. That player there could be moving into that space there, cut it off on their forestick in a strong position. But if they're trying to do that aggressively, we're in a good place, okay? You want to set your traps as well. So you want to set your traps as well. So where those traps are going to be, whether they're going to be inside the grid, maybe, so I like the grid idea, 3, 3, 3, and a controller at the back, okay? So when we don't have the ball, we fall into some frame like this, and we try and move as a group, okay? We don't want them attacking on their four-stick side over attacking their reverse stick side. So we may even offset slightly like this team has. So if they're trying to go fast, they may go there, then come down. This player moves out to there, right? So the red finishes here, but then the blue team can close in, envelope them. Okay, makes sense? Rightio. Okay, so the half press works when the opposition wants to be aggressive and try to get to the circle. Try to get the circle quickly. It's probably giving you the best possible position. Now, the rule around the press and changing the press will be this. Red have the ball. They see a wall of blue, so they hold. And they get into a holding pattern. Okay, fullback to fullback. Once that happens, this player here, it'll be their job. This is my system again. So right, you may have a different idea. You may have a more advanced idea, which is great. Hopefully we'll get to talk and you'll be able to give me some more tips. Here, this is our centre forward. I don't think it's the job of the controller to tell this player when to go. It'll be up to that person's discretion, right? Whenever they feel as though the holding pattern's starting to stick, we want this player to harass. Okay? We want them to move up and harass. Sorry about the pen. Okay, so we want that player to go up and harass, right? So harass. So this controller can, if this player harasses, these two just slide up. Slide up, still create that group. So what we're going to have then is a player here harassing. If that harassing works and we're still second guessing, they're still moving the ball around between them, we can send up more, okay? So now our press is aggressive. Now our press is getting a little bit aggressive, right? So, half press. Once they start to hold, we advance. If they retreat, so if this player drops back, because we start putting pressure on them, then we're going to get really aggressive. All right? So there's our pressing. Half, 3/4, full. Okay, half, 3/4 full, all about how the opposition behaves and how patient we can be and what opportunities these key players can pick, right? Whole idea is that we don't care if they keep the ball, as long as they're not scoring goals, and at some point we can trap them, turn them over, and then attack quickly, right? So that's roughly my idea on pressing. They win the ball in their half, we drop the halfway, and that's our starting point. If they attack aggressively, we don't need to change anything. All we got to do is hold our shape, hold our grid, move, slide. If they come amongst us, we want to crowd them. If they try and go around us, we want to push them to the sidelines. We want to envelope them, right? Force a turnover. And then win the ball and away we go. So if we win the ball down here, of course we've got more work to get up there, which is fine. We are only talking about pressing. If the opposition doesn't attack aggressively and they hold, then we want to go out and harass, right? We want to get them uncomfortable. We want to start to cut off their lines to their teammates, especially the forward lines. If we start to retreat, start to go back, we want to push up harder, right? Harder. If they start to fumble, I've seen really good teams, really good teams, get under pressure because we slide towards them and cough up traps at the sideline that they wouldn't normally do. All because you're under the pressure because they feel the players are coming upon them, right? So, if you're starting to win that pressure game, if you're starting to force the opposition to fumble, if you're getting the sense that they're missing their passes, well then you may want to, the next point in time when you're at the half press, you may want to advance a little earlier or a little bit more aggressively. But the system is simple. Hold, half press when they're aggressive, when they hold, advance, when they retreat, blitz. Okay? And so there's the basic idea. All good. So I'll see you next time.